You go, Michael.
Then we can start?
Yeah, you guys are good to go.
Okay, thank you very much. The Architectural Review Board of the Town of Southampton now come to order. Welcome to the June 3rd, 2025 meeting. Ms. Doyle, the ARB attorney, would you read the legal regulations for our hybrid meeting?
Yes. Good morning. Today's meeting is hybrid. That means it's being held both in person at Town Hall and by video conference. On the town website, there is a town clerk's meetings portal. That is where you can watch the live stream video, submit written comments for the public record, and you can also join the Zoom meeting. If anyone is attending by Zoom and you would like to speak, and you'll need to alert our moderator by clicking the raise hand icon or typing in the chat box. If you are here in person to present, then please come up to the table when your application is called. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Doyle. Everyone rise, and Mr. Rump, the Vice Chair, would you please perform the Pledge of Allegiance?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Rump.
You're welcome, Mr. Chairman.
And Mr. Jankowski, the Board Secretary, would you please perform the roll call and notify us if we have a quorum?
Mr. Wright?
Present.
He's here. Mr. Taglavia?
Here.
Ms. Keys? Is here.
Here.
Mr. Burke?
Here.
Myself. Mr. Rump?
Yes.
Yes.
And Mr. Cherrier. So we have a full quorum.
Thank you very much. Did the board members that were present at the May 20th, 2025 meeting review the minutes of that meeting? And were there any errors or omissions?
None that I saw, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
thank you. Then can I have a motion to
I'll motion that.
I'll second.
and second it? Motion has been made and seconded to approve the minutes of the May 20th, 2025 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. It's carried. Any old business to come before the board? And if none, then we'll start with the published agenda. And the first item on the agenda is a substantial residential, 400 Main Street, Quayog. Is the applicant available? Yes, and would you please come up, state your name and your affiliation with the project?
Good morning. Eric Bregman, lawyer in East Hampton, 10 Gingerbread Lane, and I represent the applicant.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Jenk.
And the first thing is congratulations
Oh,
to you, Mr. Chairman.
okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Jankowski is the lead for this project, and would you present your findings on this application?
The last time we were here, there was concern, also expressed by the Historic Board, Landmarks Board, that the house needed softening and needed to blend in better with the neighborhood, even though it's not a subject to landmarks per se. So you can see what's been done in the three renderings that are in the package. And also, one of the other concern was visibility from the street and by cars and neighbors passing by. So you can see what's been done. The first rendering is a view from Main Street, and three things basically have happened. One is tall trees will be planted along Main Street, which will shield the people driving by from the house and shield the house from them. Two plantings have been put at the, Tim, what do you call it when it's next to the
Foundation?
house? Yeah, foundation.
Foundation plant.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Mr. Ron, forgive me. Foundation plantings, and the trees and bushes in front of there, which are designed to soften the impact. And the third thing is that the windows, instead of being predominantly horizontal, are now square and are divided into divided lights, 4 over 3. The next page, rendering, shows the house from the Linden Main inside from an elevated area, so it shows all the trees. And you see the same three elements. The trees along the property line, road passes by, the plantings, the foundation plantings, and trees and bushes adjacent, close to the house to soften the look there, and the same windows, divided light windows. Also, you can't see it so much in this, the garage has divided lights as well. Here on the next page, which is at ground level, the same view from Linden Street. This one does not have, Mr. Telly, does not have the tree in front, so you could see it, but that's shown in the area. So I think this responds to your concern. That's the landmarks.
Right. Just wanted to ask you a question before Mr. Jankowski reviews this. Did you submit a landscape plan?
Not separately that I'm aware of.
Not separately.
They will with the building permit. So
Well, we would like, I think we would like to see it, and I'd like to have Mr. Rump go over it, unless you object.
No.
No,
I
thank
think
you.
that's usually the protocol,
Yes,
Mr. Bregman, is that in whatever decision this board makes, usually the landscape plan, the planting plan, is part of that decision. So then the building department has something that they can refer to. Okay.
we thought that these renderings showing the plantings would be sufficient.
Part of the problem with that, they're not really identified in terms of height, genus and species, and also how, whether they're planted at 5 feet on center or 10 feet on center, those kinds of things, more specific detail.
okay, would you mind him, or you writing out and handing it to them, what exactly you would like to see?
Well, it's just the typical planting plan.
Yeah.
That
With a
But I
planting
don't think-
schedule,
I
like
don't-
that's a,
I don't
you'll
think
know that
they're
when you go
aware
to
that
somebody.
that's the
well,
thing.
I know Mr. Bregman is.
Okay,
And if the board so wants, that could be submitted with the plan,
Well-
with the building permit, and I can review it at that point.
But is there a pool? Are there outbuildings?
yeah,
There's
Pools in the
one
back.
garage, correct? Is that it?
Pool behind it's going to be behind the garage.
And it's
So
existing.
there is one.
It says existing on the plan.
Yeah, I
But-
didn't know that meant that stayed.
yeah. Well, okay, Mr. Jankowski has the floor.
Okay.
So,
Right.
I'm sorry I interrupted you there.
Well, no, I mean,
Yeah.
that makes sense. And you can understand where we're coming from. Let's go back to like what they did do for us, because we kind of gave a lot at that last meeting. So I want to say their attempts were good, at least for the area. Again, it is softened. The windows are no longer that rectangle look where they're actually square, and now we have mullions and stuff in between them. We changed the siding to a cedar. We leaving that natural so it grays out? Is that what that's going to be?
Plan.
Okay. And then we see that too, right?
Yeah.
Where you went to GAF on that is what we're doing. So I see that. So at least the house or structure, as large as it is at least softened a little bit. The planting plan is really what's going to be the key. We see what you're doing with the foundation, again, to kind of give that little bit of softness to it, right? So it kind of makes it seem that it's smaller. But the planting schedule, as far as what's going in and sizes, because to me, we have to have, at least on the perimeter, I think 12 to 14s being planted, not
That's the
not
intention.
fours and let them grow. It's not, that's not. So that would be one of my main concerns. This gate that's on Linden, again, we don't have a planting plan, but you can kind of see in your renderings. Just about there something where like you put it like more plantings in front of the gate, so you can still utilize the gate, but yet you still don't have that spacing? Is there something that's called that, or is it just kind of like where it's planted?
I think it's just where it's planted.
Okay. So I'm gonna want, go ahead, no, go ahead.
I think these are at the property. So if you wanted,
Well, you're gonna have to figure something out. There has to be something that kind of doesn't have that spacing, because the whole purpose of kind of those plantings and the sizes is so we're kind of masking what we're seeing. So
I guess when you set the gate.
you're gonna have to
back or
figure something out. Yeah, that's what I'm asking for. Just do a solid. And again, in the front. So I think they did what we asked. We will need to see the planting plan so that we can at least have, we gotta be able to hold you to something. So as for right now, I'm okay with the changes that they made.
Okay. Comments, Mr. Rum?
I still have a problem with the architecture myself, and I don't know what that means. Just doesn't, to me, it fit the historic nature of the neighborhood. I mean, we can change materials and things like that, but it just, that's my opinion.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Burke, comments?
No, I agree with Ted. One thing I'm questioning is just the choice of that window above the door on the elevation looking east from Linden.
All of these windows, by the way, are casement windows. They open this way.
That'll be a fixed window, I think, because there's probably the stairwell that comes in right there.
Well,
This is the stairwell, that's my
yeah,
guess.
is it to light the stairwell? Yeah. Okay,
Chandelier.
I can see that, Mr. Burke, if it's an interior staircase and they use that to light it.
Yeah.
But,
Other than that, I have no other comments.
okay. Ms. Keys?
From this, you did do a lot of work, and thank you very much, but I have a few questions still. So you have on here the garage and the place, correct? How many other outbuildings are there? There's a pool house, yes? Here it says pool house proposed.
No, yes, those are proposed, and I think they were approved in the original.
We're not approved. Nothing was
No,
approved.
no, not by you, by the building department.
We don't, they have to go through us first. We need all of the
We're in
information.
trouble here because they got a building permit and nobody bothered to come here or knew to come here.
Well, can I clarify that? Because this is before your time.
Yes.
They got a demolition permit. And that's what they considered was a building permit, which it wasn't at the time, because we had researched this whole thing going back and forth with the building department and with, at that time, the building inspector. So
So,
that's what happened, so.
for me, we need the same kind of specs on each of the buildings that you propose to build, on the size of the pool, and I don't see, what is the height of the buildings? I don't know that, is this within the confines of,
It has to be 32,
so it's at 32? I'm sorry, I couldn't read it with my glasses.
yeah.
Okay, but all of that needs approvals. So whoever's the architect needs to make the correct specs for those and where they sit in the plantings. That's what I think.
Okay.
And I agree with Tim that it's not, in my opinion, a house that follows the neighborhood on any level whatsoever, still, even though you've done a lot of work.
Mr. Tagliavia, comments?
Yes, well, I certainly think it's an improvement from what we saw last meeting. I think the windows is certainly an improvement. I think the overall mass of the elevations is not in comparison to the other structures on the street, and that's what is a hanging point at the moment. Changing the materials to the shake, I think, was a good decision to make, as well as the the roof going away from the metal. The issue that I'm seeing, and just touching upon the lead, is that the renderings are showing taller trees on the Main Street elevation. In the overview, they're showing tall trees on Linden, but then you get into the street level and they're showing the 4 feet. So I think that's what the issue was previously with comments. So if you look at the rendering on sheet 17,
Yes.
so those plantings are shown only about 4 feet.
Which one's the ones next to the house, the foundation plan?
Turn one more page,
one
and then
more.
it's the Linden, turn
No,
another page.
keep going, one more.
Sorry.
Yeah, here's the Linden. Yeah.
And this is where a planting plan will come in handy, because it'll show us the heights of all of them.
That was the old,
Yeah, I think instead of stepping inside that and showing the rendering, it's kind of from the outside and you're trying to show the house. I think I get the idea of what was doing, but then it gets very confusing as this has been. That's
Okay.
what Mr. Tagliavia is getting at.
page 18, that's what the intention.
Well, again, that's why renderings are just for observation. That's why planting plans and actual plans matter.
So,
Right. Yeah, you corrected the plans correlate to the elevations, so the correct window count is there. You know, as far as the aesthetic, yes, I think there can be more done to match the neighborhood, but if you're shielding it, I'm not sure there's much more we can comment on.
Okay. Mr. Wright, comments?
Yeah. So I have a question for you. So I'm looking at the Main Street view. Okay. And that archway in between the two structures, if you look, it's telling me it's going to be the kitchen.
yes.
So the kitchen's going to have no windows in the kitchen.
Other side.
I don't see that on the, where is that?
Well, maybe not.
And I might have missed it, but again, I don't. And I don't see also, if you look, and again, I could be wrong, on page 6 of 17, where you have the kitchen, I don't see any
Doesn't show.
possible way you could have windows. You have a fridge, it looks like a counter butting up against. I don't see any markings. So I'm just curious to know what that plan is, because I find that odd to have a kitchen with no windows.
I think that's the plan at the moment.
I would check the code also
Yeah.
on that.
But then after that, I kind of just agree across the board with my fellow board members on the entire project.
I have another
Okay.
comment, Mr. Chairman,
So,
if I could.
Mr. Wright, you've concluded with your comments?
Yeah, at the present moment, Mr.
Okay,
Chairman.
thank you. Yes, Mr. Wright.
The existing swimming pool looks a bit odd to me. I'm trying to understand what that means. But then it talks about existing concrete foundations and then proposed seasonal pool houses. So I'm wondering what, because the ARB kind of looks at those, so those haven't been designed yet, as you know?
I haven't seen any designs for them, but I
Okay.
don't know if they have.
Well, that's something that, yeah,
Right.
Mr. Rump is correct. Thank you.
Excuse me, can I-
Could
Well,
they come in afterwards?
Yeah,
for those?
I just want to make
Yeah, let's.
your client aware that, just if he does get a building
Been a
permit for this,
significant redo.
that he needs to submit building permit applications for the pool houses as accessory structures.
if I may, just for my own clarification, were these two existing concrete platforms there prior to build, or did he put those in when he started and then stopped?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, Mr. Upper, thank you for that suggestion of separating out the pool houses, because one of the things that everybody wants is to get this going so they can clean it up, right?
Right.
So if they get the
Right.
building permit for the house, and then they
This
can
is what happens.
clean up the site. And
Well, okay. All right, Mr. Wright, any further comments?
I'm
Mr.
okay
Wright?
right now, Mr. Chairman.
That's all I have for now,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, fine. All right, my comments are this. I tend to agree with Mr. Rump on this, that the design is not really in keeping with the whole neighborhood. You've softened it, you've done a lot of work, and since you've taken over, and I assume you're taking over this project, we're getting a lot more done, and you're listening to us on what, to help it actually be harmonious with the neighborhood, which is really important. That's what we look at. But first of all, it is massive, the way it is. The planting plan we need, and the drawings have to match.
I think they do.
Well, sort of. And like I said in the last meeting, we can't go ahead, we can't design it for you.
Right.
But I think it should be softened a little more, if you can. The roof lines are a little sharp, and there's a way of softening that without additional expense, by the way. And with casement windows, I would have your architect look at it very carefully, because casement windows, they both come out and without an overhang somewhat. If you get a sudden rain, you're gonna get water into the house. And I would definitely look at that. I would look at what Mr. Wright came up with in the kitchen. I'm glad you picked that up, Mr. Wright, of the windowless kitchen. And I am pretty sure there is a code on that. And the windows have to be operative. And I think there's a fire code on that, isn't there?
Not sure on that one.
Yeah.
It looked like they didn't
think there's the
put much
town code,
time
though.
into it.
What?
Is it,
I'm pretty sure, I think there is. I'd have to look at it though.
Yeah. So, anyway,
Is it a building code or a state code almost, too?
yeah,
Well, generally, our building code follows.
because I'm just saying, I designed a house and we just had windows, but they were not operative, and I was told they have to be operative in case of a smoke or fire or whatever, so that's from my experience on that. And other than that, comments, like I said, I'm glad you took over the project. It seems to be going a lot better and easier now. And I would want more drawings, and, on the pool houses, I would wait. I would wait on that. And these are like the pool, I think it might be the drawing, but it looks like a parallelogram instead of a square, and we've been out there. I think it is.
It is square. You can
It
see
is square.
Yeah, so that's a drawing.
Yeah, it's a rectangle.
What do you call it? Satellite picture. Should
Yeah.
So I don't know what Mr. Corwin,
this is the garage, right?
when he prepared a survey, what that means. So
Right.
I would just get some clarification
Yeah.
on that if you could.
So,
And I think, the question about the foundations is a good one in terms of, it says existing, so I don't know when.
It's relevant.
Does it?
Yeah, existing concrete foundations, were they there before, or did the owner put those in?
Did they build them? Yeah.
Right, because there was cottages that were on that site.
Really?
That's kind of where that
there were small
old
cottages.
entrance off of Linden was.
Uh-huh.
They had like the cottage over there.
Okay.
Or
Because
could they put them on when they started building without? That's the question.
Because I went out there to the site, and so did Mr. Jankowski, and it looks like they were built, not the original.
That's what it
but
looks like.
I'm not positive of that, but anyway. All right, that concludes the board's comments to you. Now it's going to be open to the public.
Okay.
Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak? Yes, and state your name and how you're connected to the project.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I am George Lynch. My wife and I live at 380 Main Street, which is just 2 doors away from the project. We've been there since 1990, and I'm not really able to answer the question on whether or not those concrete platforms are pre-existing. I just wasn't that observant about it. I thank you all for the work that you're doing. I'm sorry I was late. I had a little traffic jam. I have to agree that the structure has been softened some, substantially even. As to what some members have suggested that there are other things which could be done to soften it. I'm sure that there are. I don't know. But no matter how soft it gets, this is still a matter of scale. This is still, as Mr. Charrier said, a massive structure. And that is totally out of harmony with the neighborhood, especially the immediate neighborhood. We don't have big houses like that there. Now, something like this happened directly across the street from us, I believe at 375 Main. It's the other lot on the creek, to the south side of Main Street. We're the lot on the creek, north side of Main Street. And the Fergusons built a very big place. Style-wise and everything, it was very much in sync with the neighborhood, but it's huge. And what happened there was they screened it. They screened it with evergreens. You, as huge as it is, you can't see that place from Main Street. Now, that may be, the board may think that may be what ought to be done here. And I'd say so personally, but I have to say, I think that should not be viewed as an excuse for not going to further softening of the design. I don't think just because you've got trees in the front, you can do whatever you want or leave it in its present state. But that, again, that's just my opinion. I don't think I have anything else to offer. Thank you all very
Right,
much.
thank you very much, Mr. Lynch. Is there anyone, yes, would you please come up and state your name and your connection?
Sure. Hi, I'm Brian Mahoney. I live across the street on Linden Lane. And I'm here to represent more of the Linden 11. I could answer your question with the foundations because I had a front row seat to the construction. The pool house structures went in at the same time as the pool. They were not there before they tore into the house.
So, may I ask a question, Mr. Chair?
Yes,
So Brian,
Mr.
so you're saying the pool, existing pool and existing concrete foundations were put in by the present owner?
They were new. Yeah,
So
they
it's
are
not
new.
existing, it's new.
Yeah, I don't know what was
That's
permitted
what
or
I'm
allowed.
hoping Mr. Bregman can find that out for us so that we have
Okay.
the proper picture of what this means.
When the house was sold, there was no pool. There was no pool house
Okay,
Yes.
or house heads.
all right, great. So we'll corroborate
Thank
that
you.
with Mr. Mr. Bregman and was there a previous surveyor that you know of, Mr. Bregman, that was on the site?
Would that be a surveyor?
Yeah,
I don't know of it, but there may be.
there may be.
There may be one from.
If that could be given to us as part of the next round of plans, I think would be.
Yeah, an original
helpful.
survey?
Well, before, when the property changed ownership or whatever that means. I'm not quite sure what that means yet.
Because there had to be a survey when the property was sold.
I would think so.
Yes, well, it would have to, or the town wouldn't approve it, so.
All right.
Well,
So
The
if,
attorney would, yeah.
Yeah,
they,
yeah, I know, but normally,
lawyers often say you should do that, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, they don't, they can say no, or, yeah,
As is.
okay.
yeah.
I think thank you, Brian, for that information.
Right.
That's great.
on your, we can stay on here. On the west side of the right building, it shows a bedroom. In room number 5 upstairs, there's no window on that rendering, which I think is gonna be a significant visual for the board to consider.
Can you say it again, please? I'm sorry.
Bedroom number 5.
This thing works, let's see. Hey, here you go. No, it's not gonna work on the right building, the one with the blue facing house. To the left side is bedroom number 5, and on the floor plans, there's a big window on that facade.
Okay.
And there's none shown on the rendering. With respect to that, I also didn't see an east elevation with respect to the neighbor toward the east, who was here last week, couldn't be here. Who was, this is all being recorded, so you could look at it at your leisure. There's no east elevations in your submission. There are no northern elevations in your submission. The neighbor to the north, Jack, asked me to represent him because he's looking from the toward the south. So there's no north elevation for him to ponder or for me to even help him there.
So what that would be was the backyard there, Eric. That would be from the pool side.
We're back to inconsistencies of one drawing not matching the other.
Drawings.
Then back to the kitchen without the windows, I'm frightened for my life that there's going to be a big skylight in it if that happens someday. I don't know what weight the board has to prevent that from happening in the future. I'm thrilled to see cedar shakes. I don't know what capacity the board has to make sure that the corners are woven. That's a subtle detail that would set this off into a far better realm than 1x4 corners. That's all I have for the architectural comments.
All right, can I just interrupt you for a second on this? And I'll wait until you finish.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. No, if you finish writing and then I'll
I
make.
am.
Oh, okay. What the gentleman has mentioned about this window on the side over the roof, that means that the peak is going to be hiding a portion of that window, the peak of the roof.
What drawing are you looking at? What page? There? Second floor.
In other words, it's incorrect. Unless you intend on doing that, which I don't understand. Okay, right here.
Where is the
Bedroom
problem?
number 5.
Yeah, bedroom number 5.
Right.
And this window. You've got a peak, you've got a gabled roof. Right in here, above the kitchen. Which means then you're going to be, part of the roof is going to be into that window.
And that window wasn't shown on the.
Right, it wasn't on the
renderings.
Well, it shouldn't be there.
Yeah, because you would see it right,
You can go,
right
yeah.
in this.
There's two
See
different
that
ones.
elevation. And even this elevation,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
There's
even
another
this.
one.
you see this? That's where it would,
Yeah, it shouldn't be there.
right. So I think the inconsistencies.
Right, okay. Sorry, Mr. Mahoney.
No, these are, I'm going a mile a minute, I'm sorry. Yeah, those are, I think, really strong considerations. Ones that this is our 4th meeting, that the board has consistently asked for the plans to match the
Right,
renderings to match the site plan. If you go to the first page, which is a survey, there's a little note to the right, and I've never seen this in my tenure as a landscape architect, that it's a hybridized version of 2 surveys. I don't know how Nate Corwin would feel about his survey being superimposed on Scalise's survey. So there's a lot of information on this. The pool is definitely not a parallelogram. But what's most critical, most important, which I brought up 3 times in a row. This will be the third. There's a land grab taking place. The current arborvitaes and the gate that's shown on the rendering is not on the subject's property and needs to be put onto the subject's property to be effective. I took pictures of it. I don't know how to share them with you, but Linden Lane is an alley of gorgeous old, at least 100-year-old lindens. It's a cathedral this time of year with the vase-shaped branches, intertwining. It looks like you're walking down the nave of St. Pat's or something. We don't want those arborvitaes underneath the lindens. God knows what damage they've done to them already. I'm maintaining the ones that were planted out already. They're struggling. I've paid for the arborists through the Linden 11. There's more dying on them, but they're responding with amazing growth. So I'm feeling really positive about that. I'm worried about construction. I don't know how far I could drill down at this hearing. I know you have bigger mountains to climb. But it has to be recognized that these are not on their property, nor is the electric meter panel that was installed. And it's clearly a land grab as part of whatever they're doing on their site plan. So I'm glad you're requiring a planting plan, because that should all be corrected and shown. This needs to be staked out. And if they don't do it, we will. The Linden 11 will. So we know where those, so the required screening arborvitaes will be. And then as far as that gate, if it's a pedestrian gate, so be it. But your idea or Tim's idea to do a baffle, we do them all the time. So it continues the screening and the gates go to the side, or you walk through and go out, sort of like a public restroom at a convention center. I think that's it. Northern kitchen. Oh, site plan. Being a landscape architect, I come across this all the time. I'm told to draw this pretty picture, put plants where they go and where the client wants them, and then enter the engineering, and the sanitary goes in, and the driveway has to move, or the driveway's in the wrong place, and it just ricochets through the plan. On that site plan, I think the sanitary should be shown, so it's a proper site plan. It's utmost importance.
Right.
So it's not last minute phone calls and changes into something that we don't need. Thank you.
And that
Mr.
concludes.
Chairman, can I ask
Yeah.
Mr. Mahoney a question?
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Taking a look at that, the fence on Linden Lane, is that, and it even extends further north, is that correct?
It's not there. It was taken down. It was part of the old house.
Okay, so it's not there now?
No.
Okay,
There is a stake on the northern corner of their property from the owner to the north, had that installed.
so that's the northwest corner of this property?
Yeah.
The one closest to Linden? The stake?
That corner there, right,
Right.
yeah, the northwest
And
corner.
if you look at where the fence line is, that's where the arborvitaes are not on the property.
Right, well, they shouldn't be, because that is a right-of-way
Yeah.
for a town road,
Okay.
right?
No, it is, so.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to make,
And a private lane. Linden Lane's private.
oh, it is private?
Yes, it's
So
private
it's
road.
owned by the landowners to the center line of the road?
That I don't know. They call us the Linden 11. There are 11
So
homes that share it.
I live on a private lane, and in our deed, it says we own to the middle of that private lane.
Okay.
All right, so I don't know, maybe that, we should find what that means.
Yeah, one of the neighbors hired Kelly and Hume to find that out. And
Okay.
one neighbor I know goes to the opposite side of Linden Lane, and the others are inconclusive. I looked at my deed, it's inconclusive.
Right, okay,
And I was number 7 Linden Lane, but that was changed.
so it's not a
5.
public right-of-way per se.
No, and it's, if you go to the Southampton portal, it's clearly a private road.
Okay,
It's a green line right through it for representing
Yeah,
private.
we have some issues down on our private road with people taking going to the edge of pavement where they
Yeah.
really shouldn't.
And that's what the Linden, sorry,
That's
the
that's
Linden
really
11 are
not
worried
our,
about.
that's not our purview.
Okay,
All right, so I would, I think that's more of a town attorney issue in a building department issue if you know, at that point, so.
Yeah, it's nitty gritty, and that's what I said, I don't know how far down you want to drill, but if they have to do a site plan, that's under your purview, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then all these problems will
The
go away
planting
when they
plan
move
should
the
be correct.
arborvitae's on their property. They're not going to impinge on our Cathedral of Lindens. And I think the Linden 11 will be happy.
Okay.
Okay.
I have another couple of comments, Mr. Chairman.
Excuse me?
I have a couple more comments.
Yes,
Just
Mr. Tagliavia.
in reference to a couple of things you pointed out. I do agree in terms of sticking with the aesthetic of the neighborhood. We could ask that the homeowner keep the exposure of the shingles to between 5.5 inches and 7, which sticks with the historical concept of shake. A lot of times they'll increase them to 8 or even 10.5 inches, and I think it loses that historical aesthetic. The woven corners, I think, is a good point. And also, just to give some insight, you're going through this battle now, getting the ARB approval, and I think you, unless provide a lot of these details and drawings, are going to have a very similar battle once you get to the building department. So, just to assist, there will need to be cut sections, both through the house, longitudinal and widthwise, which would indicate and allow us to properly see that the window would be cut through the ridge vent or the ridge of the connection. That's the kitchen. Also, the floor plans matching the elevations, the other two missing elevations, the site plan, the sanitary plan, and also, it doesn't pertain to this board, but, electrical plans and power plans you will need. So just to allow you to keep progressing in the right direction.
And the sanitary.
Yeah, that
it's the
should be
game
part,
changer.
that should be part of the proposed site plan. So I think that's it, because there are, like you had mentioned, 375 Main is a large structure, but I think those trees are almost 20 feet tall in front of it, so you can't see it at all. And also one Holman's, what's the other cross street there?
Holman's, right.
One Holman's does have some, some taller gable end elevations, but it's very well shielded and it tucks into the landscape.
And a lot of those homes on Holman's are set back. So
Right, they are
just the
set
scale is dwarfed, unlike the one across the street.
Right, but there are existing structures that do have even larger scale. So I think the proper screening is going to be a ticket to getting this pushed to the next step, along with these other drawings that are missing.
Yes, go ahead.
Brian, I had questions about the land grab, because I'm trying to understand it so I can explain it.
Do you have the survey pulled up? I could point to it.
Well, I see it, yes.
Microscopic.
Okay, I see a fence, this,
So here's the right of way.
all right? All right,
It's 8.5 feet wide.
all right,
So this is your corner. This is your corner. There's no monument there. It was laying in the sidewalk. So right now, the linden, the row of arborvitae's are here. They need to go on the property. Right now, the electric meter is here off of the property line. So that one has to go. So yeah, these need to go back. And if I were to
okay.
pick apart your rendering, the rendering is showing the land grab. It's actually going to be somewhere in here.
And from my perspective too, it looks like that proposed driveway or parking court in front of the house might have to be reduced as well to accommodate the plantings in that area. So I think there's some issues that have to be kind of looked at. And the site plan and planting plan that'll show, there's probably some drainage on this that should be shown, as well as the sanitary.
One of the neighbors asked me to bring up drainage, and I didn't, but yes, it's a lot of hardscape to,
And also
Linden
roof
Lane's
drainage.
low lane.
The roof drainage should be, thought out and
That's
that
good.
kind of thing too.
well, that's usually for the building department, but
Well, I
But they're
think-
shown too. I
as-
mean, it
as-
doesn't even look like there's gutters.
Yeah, as it relates to the sanitary system, there are separations. But So I think it all, kind of has to be thought out together, so there's no whoops, and we come back to the building department with, oh, we have to do this, and then, oh, okay.
Right, and the whole block is in a stormwater management zone.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's low-lying.
okay, and that concludes,
Thank you, yes.
right, okay. Is there any other board member that, any other comments? Yes, go ahead.
I have, I guess, the $64 question. There's a lot of work going forward from all the comments, that you, which is
Right.
what it is. There's also, has been expressed some ambivalence about whether you're going to approve it anyway, because you don't think it fits well enough, or it's too massive. There've been thoughts along those lines. I'm not saying that's a good thought or a bad thought, right?
Okay,
But I have to tell him, and he has to decide, he, the developer, right, whether to bother to go forward and do all this work to figure out what you need, if it's not going to approve it anyway, because it's too big.
okay.
Any guidance for me?
Okay, I can tell you, this board doesn't really, if it's allowed that size on the site, it's immaterial. If it's designed well and it fits with the neighborhood, that's our main criteria. And to keep up the real estate values in the area. And that's number one. First of all, I'm just going to say, every time we've come, you guys have come here, and it's not you, it's the others. This was before your time. They didn't have complete drawings. They had inconsistency throughout. We don't have that from any other applicant. I don't know of, since I've been on this board, which is 25 years, they usually come here with complete drawings. And this is the first time I've seen it so sketchy. I know at times we are asking for certain changes to be made. And the changes were a little here, a little there. My suggestion is you get a complete package together before you come back to this board. Because you're going to have the same thing again if it's not complete. But at least you took all the notes down this time.
Okay.
So
So that leaves me still,
whether we're going to approve it or not,
well, assuming you're satisfied with the matters you've talked about, the screening and the windows, and making sure the design, the floor plans fit like that window that looks in the wrong place. It's assuming those are reasonably addressed.
and they do a full set of drawings on all sides and complete.
If I can just interject, thank you, by the way, for getting involved, because we've been getting more. But that question it's really not something we can answer. It's not our purview. And honestly, I got to be honest that, again, we have more inconsistencies again. So I don't even know what the final real product is, right? So to answer, would it be approved as submitted? Can't answer that.
Well, it's not as submitted.
Or approved as
And one
changes.
inconsistency I've heard is the window that overlooks the peak of the kitchen.
That's one of many.
Yeah.
Well, I
No.
can see the others.
I
What are
mean,
the others?
you don't think there's going to be windows in the kitchen at all?
Landscape design?
Houses are there, and we're leaving those for later. Well, I'm
That's
sorry,
not the way
I'm
it's
being
done.
more aggressive than I intended to be.
That's not the way it's done.
Well,
But
then
moving
I'll tell
forward,
you.
I appreciate the efforts.
I will
thus
be
far.
pretty blunt. He's getting a lot of pressure from, the developer, from his lender. And his choice is going to be whether to just let it go and let it be foreclosed or not.
Okay, can I answer this right
That's
now?
not your business. I understand.
No,
that's not
that
your
is definitely not our business, but if he came with a complete set of plans in the beginning, which they didn't do,
I
it
can't,
would have been a lot easier for this board
of course.
to go through
I
it.
understand that, and I
And
agree
that's
with that.
part of the problem.
I understand that, and I
Because
agree with
we
you.
have been, this is your fourth time before this board. Yeah, I'm going to quote Mr. Wright, you're wasting our time, you're wasting the taxpayers' time.
Right, you got 6 people for another hour, but with inconsistent plans.
I hear your attitude. I will convey that to the
Attitude,
developer.
just time. How about our
No,
time?
your attitude is you're annoyed with this guy for having wasted your time. And I understand where that comes
Again
from.
and again.
Actually, I'm gonna speak for myself. I'm not annoyed for him wasting my time. So I'm gonna interject that. I am, however, annoyed that we continue to come up to the meeting without complete sets of plans, right? That has nothing to do with it. That just it's very inconsistent for us to review and give an opinion on something has not, and it's not your doing, that has not come forth complete.
Right.
And look, it's been piecemeal. I understand. It's been piecemeal, if I may, both ways. Because I was here last time. We went over what needs to be done. Nobody said you need a rendering from the north. Nobody said you need a site plan or a sanitary on it. Now, maybe that should have been done at the beginning. But it wasn't, and we were going along. So it has been piecemeal.
Google how to make architectural plans. It's all
Yes.
in there. It
I
will
think
save
Eric
it.
has a right to poll the board to see that based on this
Yes.
design right now and the modifications that were discussed today, if each board member would be inclined to vote in favor of the project. I think that's fair.
Mr. Burke, I totally agree with you. We can do that now.
Especially losing our chairman's vote. I think the next board meeting, we're only down to 6 members. So that's 6 votes.
Thank you. You've put it better than I can.
And I'm in a position that I would approve the project with the many modifications that we heard today. I
Okay,
can't list
well,
them all, but.
Go through everyone. Okay, is there any objection to me polling the board on this?
I actually feel like it's so arbitrary until we get the correct information. It's ridiculous to pull.
My
fine, I'll go
comment
through
would be
everyone.
just as far as even being the lead, I can't even propose, there's nothing I can propose to the board.
Right, no, I
How-
understand.
We can't. So
Well,
it really comes down to, like, I'm just gonna state it, because you're arguing arguments that happened months later. We've been very, I think, accommodating to try to help you through these sketches, because this has gone on, work has been done without permits. So now we're talking about things that happened that shouldn't have, and we were trying to help. This isn't an actual set of plans. So if you're going to do something, put the money into actual sets of plans. I don't see how the building department could even look at these. So we're trying to help you. We need actual plans, starting with a site plan, starting with sanitary, starting with building plans. A builder needs plans to be able to build a building. From there, then we can at least make a proposal for the board. But for right now, I'm not making a proposal. You just can't.
Okay, well, I still will poll the board on Mr. Burke's comment. Okay, Mr. Rump?
Just the comment I have, I mean, I don't know what was submitted to the building department.
It was a,
I have seen a set of plans. I haven't looked at it in great
Because
detail.
as far as my experience has been, you would need sanitary approval to make that, so that's available. And there is probably a plan,
Inspected those plans.
and then a survey that might have, the stormwater drainage on it. So I think those are available, and I think the board's asking for things that are somewhat available. They just have to be made to agree. And I don't know where that is, Mr. Brickman. So, I kind of agree with Ted. I can't, unless we get this package and we start to look at, where things are and the revisions to a planting plan that shows everything on their property, I can't say whether I'll approve it or not. I have to be honest with you.
thank you, Mr. Jankowski, would you?
Yeah,
continue
I
with your
agree the
comments?
same exact thing. You need the whole set of plans and to look at it to say, okay, this is what we're proposing, not these sketches and whatnot. So what is in front of us, I can't approve.
Okay. All right, Mr. Burke, I have your comments unless you wish to add anything else.
Just that I think Mike kind of addressed it before. I think the purview of this board is different than what the building department is going to require, obviously for the building permit and the septic approval. And the purview of this board is to analyze the structure, which I think we've been doing, and looking at the surrounding characteristics of the neighborhood, looking at samples, materials. So I think some of the board members need to rely on the building department to do their job while we do ours.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Keys, comments on this, on Mr. Burke's proposal?
I will not say one way or the other until I see a complete plan that doesn't have all of the inconsistencies that make me very uncomfortable with how they're going to go forward.
Thank you. Mr. Tagliavia, comments on
No.
Mr. Burke's proposal?
I would say that I in agreement with Mr. Burke in that if certain descriptive listed revisions were made, that this, in my opinion, is going towards an approval, certainly much further than in the past few meetings. But I cannot approve the current submission.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Wright, comments on Mr. Burke's proposal?
I echo the board in its entirety. To be honest with you, right? I can't approve it as submitted. I think that if we were to see everything in one place together submitted, which by the way, and not you, but just to interject on that, I don't think we've ever had a set of plans or a package come in front of us that didn't have everything on it anyway, which echoes Mrs. Keys. That also makes me nervous that I feel like every time we dig through this, I find something else that I missed on the previous meeting that is not being picked up, and now we're picking it up today. So that is why, and I in banking, I understand your client, and he has financial constraints for the loan. I understand that, and we're here to always try to do what's best for everybody. But I think that the Linden families that live there deserve also a complete set of plans to have in their hands.
If I may just ask,
Yes.
a complete set of plans normally does not include, all the detail stuff for a building permit, like where the strap, they can be
No,
20
not
pages. So
no.
I just want to make sure.
That's
what
for the
we're-
building department's purview.
Right.
What he is talking about is generalized plans of where the windows are going to go, where the building is oriented on the site, what other buildings are around, and like the landscape plan. You've sat here and you've seen other proposals come in that were substantial, and they've sent digital drawings of everything, but they've been more complete. Look, I got to tell you, Mr. Wright, are you conclude?
The last piece I just want to interject it. So the long wraparound to answer your question, I think the board would feel more comfortable having everything in front of us at that point.
That's what I'm trying to
Right.
particularize, what everything means.
Well, I think I'll let.
That's different. If you mean like a full set of building plans.
No, I think
No.
Mr. Chairman was accurate in what, yeah,
Okay, I'm just trying to,
A full set of design plans.
design plans.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Because
that's very helpful.
Okay, Mr. Wright is,
I'm
okay. My comments are this. We feel we've been kind of jerked around on this. You're not the first, or he's not the first developer that have tried to tire this board out. This board is not going to be tired. I can guarantee you that. But we are going to draw a line here. Complete set of plans or you will not be heard again. And when I say design plans that are accurate. And this is my final meeting, so all I can say is I wouldn't have you back if I was continuing until you have a full set and they're reviewed, and then you can come up to the board at that point.
Can I ask a
Yeah.
question? Who determines that?
I think the lead from the area can look at it. I mean, that would
Also
be my
willing to
opinion.
partner with you
Yeah.
when it comes in to review it.
Yeah.
So
Don't
what we're
we think
saying
a
is-
green stamp site plan too?
What's that?
A green stamp site plan?
I don't think we need that. I think we
No.
just need to see what it looks like and it relates to the current site plan that we have.
Okay.
So that,
Well, this-
we're not moving the driveway or moving
Right, exactly,
structures
like-
because of it.
This on this page isn't a site plan.
No,
Like, I'm talking S1 site plan.
No, it should be bigger.
Yeah.
So we
and
can
it
read
should,
it.
it
Like
should
a
be
real site plan.
Yeah,
no,
so we can read it.
certified by a surveyor.
All right, is that a red stamp one then, and green stamp's
A green
am I
stamp.
mixing them?
Yeah, no, it's
One
it's
health
certified
department?
by a licensed surveyor
Okay,
with everything on it and a septic plan that shows the septic field, et cetera. And if this is a weld property or not, how far away is the septic system from the well? Because that's one of the important
That's
parts.
not a part of us, but I
Yeah.
think we just want to see those structures on a plan and make sure that that's what's there, or is going to be there at some
Yeah.
point.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
for some time savings for the applicant as well, could they email the lead to
Yes.
see that everything is accurate, and then we can get you on to the next meeting, so that way there's no come back and then we're missing something?
Sure. I don't know how long it'll take to do
Right.
everything you've requested, but as
Well,
soon as we can.
look, part of the problem, I think, is if you have an architect, he should know all of this already.
Walter's not an architect.
Well, yeah. So, but this is what, my suggestion is consult an architect as an advisor whoever designed the structure.
I'll look at it, free of charge. I want this end to end.
Yeah. Well, you can suggest that after the meeting.
no soliciting.
Yes. Yeah, because we can't solicit during the meeting.
Price is right.
Yeah, I mean, free of charge, I know, but still, that's it. And this is, at this point, I don't believe there's any reason to take a vote on this.
No.
I think we'll just hold it over. No, but I am. Because you'll see, remember, this project still has a negative vote over it. Because we turned it down the first time. So that will have to be nullified and then vote on the new one. It still carries the negative vote all the way through. So, and Mr. Jankowski, I think, is fully able to review a complete set when you have it, and we'll get this through. But we are not doing anything unusual to this client. We don't even know who he is, so it doesn't matter.
My thought is, if it's okay with you, Mr. Chair, and with Mr. Rump and Mr. Jankowski, is to send, if the separate landscape plan to Mr. Rump ahead of time.
Yes, definitely.
To you, so have it, but get your input from it.
I mean, we do that as a common practice
Yep.
most of the time, so.
It's the first time I get anything without a fee from him.
Yeah, well, is there any further comments? Is there any further comments from the board? Then this will be held over,
Okay?
that which will mean you will be the first on the agenda when you're ready. In
Okay.
other words, you'll be up a line, because we don't hold it over. That means you're gonna go to the bottom.
Thanks.
So, right. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the public. And I just want to say, since this is my final meeting, and as soon as we adjourn, I've resigned, and my resignation takes effect then. I want to thank everybody, especially this board, for helping me and being supportive. And I really appreciate it, and especially Ms. Doyle, our ARB attorney. You have been a wonder for me anyway, I could tell you.
Thank you.
And I just want to have it on the record that Ms. Meyer has done an exceptional job for this board. You've gone over and above what was expected of you. And that is, I think, appreciated by every member on this board.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much. Now, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Yes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None?
Yay!
I'm out of here.